This is what it sounds like to start the Toyota GR86. An affordable sports car these days is almost an oxymoron, but really the GR86 is affordable and it's a sports car. It starts at just over $31,000. This is the premium trim, so it's around $33,000, and there is a higher trim level for $36,000, but you get a ton of stuff on the premium trim that I think makes it worthwhile, and really the only thing cheaper is going to be the Miata. So the GR86 comes with a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder boxer engine that's going to get you 228 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. It only weighs about 2,800 pounds, which means that there's plenty of power for how much that it weighs. Arguably, the most important part is that the GR is fun to drive. It has great handling, the steering feels awesome, and it even has a track mode for when you want to go into track mode. It goes from 0 to 60 in about 5.5, 5.6 seconds with the manual. I think it's a little bit slower with the automatic, but overall it's just been really great to drive. As I mentioned, this has about 6.3 cubic feet of cargo space, which doesn't seem like a lot, but this is actually pretty deep and usable. We have our whole camera bag back there, my big purse, and as you can see, there's still space. So this could be your daily driver and you'll still have enough room to make it happen. Something that I think gets overlooked a lot is that Toyota offers a really great warranty and maintenance plan. You're getting 3 years or 36,000 miles for the limited warranty. For the powertrain, it's 5 years or 60,000 miles, but you also get 2 years of complimentary maintenance. I believe that Mazda still offers 1 year on the Miata, and Subaru no longer offers complimentary maintenance on the BRZ, so that's a pretty big value add for this one. The interior of the GR is fairly comfortable, no fuss, but really high quality. You still get your digital dashboard up here, you get your digital infotainment system. It has some important real buttons on the side for your home, phone, the radio button, and you have your volume controls. Then all of your climate controls are going to be down here with more real buttons and more dials. You have your traction control button right here, your track mode button right here, and then these are going to be your seat heaters. So overall, just really well done and everything is within reach. And then these seats are really comfortable. If you've ever watched one of my reviews before, you know that I like to sit up really high. Even though these manually adjust, they manually adjust quite a bit, so you can still sit up really high. They hold you in well, and overall the interior is just really well done and comfortable. Another important part is that this does obviously come in a manual transmission. To keep up with the BRZ Miata trifecta, Toyota kind of has to offer it with a manual transmission, and as I understand it, the take rate is about 48%. I think that that's only because that's what Toyota offers it, whereas the BRZ, you can kind of order it with a manual transmission, but as I understand it, about half of the people who buy a BRZ opt for the manual transmission. All 3 trim levels do come with the manual as standard, and if you want the automatic, it's an $1,100 upgrade. So it's available on all 3 trim levels, but if you're just going with how it comes, you're gonna get the manual. So we've talked about what we like on the inside of the car and on the outside of the car, so now all that's left is that we take it for a drive. So they're adaptive headlights, so one of them is like following where you're turning the wheel, and the other one is staying straight so that you can see what's ahead of you, which I think is really cool. And I'm sure that's not new technology, but when I was driving in the dark the other day, I was like, wow, that is pretty helpful. It's kind of hard to see now, of course, that I started filming and it's bright out. All right. Let's take this thing for a ride. But it handles really well and it's really well balanced. So when you're on the road, you know, it doesn't feel like it's going all over the place. When you turn the steering wheel, it turns as you would like. I feel like I'm being followed by a cop every single time I go out. I feel like I encounter a police officer. Whee! God, don't let me get pulled over. One of the most important things is that everyone says that it is super fun to drive. What makes it fun to drive? I would say the 2.4 liter boxer engine is an important factor here. This only weighs about 2,800 pounds depending on if you have the automatic or the manual. And with 228 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, it feels like plenty of power when you're behind the wheel. But really what it comes down to is the whole package. It handles really well. The steering feels really good. It's very well balanced. The whole car is very well balanced. And there are a few other upgrades on it that just kind of make it fun, affordable, and it still has the manual. So when you check all of those boxes, I feel like it's, it says I'm changing lanes. It is getting harder and harder to find vehicles like this, especially in this price range. And when you factor in the manual thing, it's becoming like an impossible feat. So even though the Miata and obviously the BRZ are very similar, I think it's going to come down to brand preference at the end of the day. This definitely feels like a Toyota. The Miata's fine, it's a little smaller, and this does have a back seat, which is not usable by any means, but when you're trying to fit groceries or bags, or I wouldn't say people, that extra space is a big deal. If I were to say what the vibes are like, I would say the vibes are high, the vibes are fun. You could probably take this to autocross on like your first day of owning it if you really wanted to, which you probably really want to. And honestly, I don't blame you. The thing is though that you could do whatever you want with this. I feel like it's really versatile, but you could still have this as a daily driver. When I was researching owners of this and how they feel about it, people are saying that it's their daily driver. Someone even said they drive it in snow. I'm not sure I'm recommending that, but I also don't live in the snow. For Florida, I think that you could drive this all day long. I'm trying to find some faults here, but I haven't been able to find them. It kind of reminds me of old, really important cars like the E36 M3 or the S2000. This is kind of a modern take on it, and it is as good as everyone on the internet says.